It is day 8 of South Africa's lockdown. 21 days is the amount of days we're going to get through, if it isn't extended, but that's waiting and seeing. Welcome to this Friday edition of Morning Live. Let's now get some crossings in to our reporters that are around the country. And you heard that Health Minister Zweli Mkhize launched those 67 mobile sampling and testing units that are going to be deployed nationwide to all districts and metropolitan municipalities. So let's cross over to Hasina Gori. She is at one of the testing stations in Alexandra. Hasina, it's a good morning to you, and I know that you are there in Alex about the testing stations, but I can't help but notice that tuck shop that is there right behind you as well. I did see a lady standing there a bit earlier to see if it's going to open. New regulations allowing these tuck shops to open. So besides the testing stations, there looks like a little bit of a change in Alex this morning.
Good morning. Yes, that tuck shop that you see behind me, it is open. It's been serving some of the customers a little earlier when we got here, maybe about half an hour ago. So that new regulations really coming into play. People are abiding by that new regulations. As you can hear, the vanzas that are in the background, basically shuttling people to and from either essential service workers or those that are just going to get their essentials. We've seen from Friday that scenes of people queuing, to get their necessities. And I do know that here in Alex, in a bid to kind of curb that number of people that are going out, there is a civic organization called Keep Alex at Home that has just launched, and hopefully we're going to chat with them later in the day at some point. They're looking at measures to keep people in Alex in their homes and to abide by some of the rules that are put into place to stop the spread of COVID-19. But to go back to the testing sites, here in Alex specifically, after the president's announcement on Monday saying that they're going to roll out mass testing in communities, there'll be like door-to-door testing as well. On Tuesday, the Gauteng government came out here in Alexandra to Swetla specifically, where we know one person tested positive. He, against medical advice, when he was told to self-isolate, he left and he went to Limpopo. Police had to be called in to intervene. He was then arrested and then taken into self-isolation, and we know that 9 others who came into contact with him are now in quarantine. So the Gauteng government came out specifically to this area and they mass piloted, tested out the testing of people in huge settings. They said it was the first of its kind. They were also testing out various different testing kits to see which ones were the most adaptable, which were the best to get results. So we know at least 100 people were tested just on Tuesday in that specific area. Today we're going out to various different sites here, both in Alex as well as the rest of Johannesburg. The Premier did mention something that they were looking specifically at vulnerable areas. So vulnerable for them were areas where there were high density of people that may come into contact with people that are positively infected. So that was specifically areas in close to suburbs as well as the inner city, which they feel right now in Johannesburg are vulnerable areas. I know the number that they gave for sites that they will be setting up was at least 69 just here in Johannesburg, and the rest of the province they were still rolling out numbers and looking at where vulnerable spots may be in those areas.
All right, Hasina Gori keeping an eye on what's happening in Alexandra. This is following the mobile testing stations that are being deployed nationwide to all districts and municipalities. And we're also going to be crossing a little bit later to our reporter, Tabiso Sitole, who's out in Bosmont. That's another area where a testing station is opened.